Hey there, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to have a very in-depth review of all three of my aliens. You guys have been asking for this, mainly as a comparison between the Essence de Parfum and the Liqueur de Parfum, but I also have the original alien eau de toilette when it was still Thierry Mugler before it became Mugler. So I just have a little bit of it left and I thought I'd throw that in terms of juice. So I thought I'd throw that into the review just in case you come across one of the original formula ones. I can kind of give you a comparison. So I've got three aliens. You know how they say that people are either like an alien girl or an angel girl? I'm 100% an alien girl. I actually don't own a single bottle of Angel. My mom had one growing up that she didn't even really like that much. There's something about it, which I'm 99.9% sure it's the patchouli, because I'm not always on board, that just puts me off. But it has been years, maybe even 10 years, maybe a decade since I've actually really smelled it. So I do think every once in a while that maybe I should get it again and dabble in the angel world. But today we're going to stay in the alien world and I love it. So if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe and let's get into it. So Alien is very much like a jasmine lover's paradise. It's a very rich jasmine scent, and I do remember the original eau de parfum, and I did really like it. It's very strong. It was very beast mode. I never owned it, but many people around me did, and I really did like it. It was, especially at the time, I remember it being like, I feeling like it was a masterpiece and like nothing ever came close to it. And it was just very unique. And it still is unique, but I think it was much more shocking back then. And yeah, I really did like it. And it was very strong. Now, again, from what I've heard, and I haven't tried the Mugler version of the eau de toilette or eau de parfum, so I can't say for sure, but I've heard that ever since it was sold, the performance is just absolutely no longer there, which is sad because that was one of the best things about it. It's how beast mode it was. So we're just gonna get into it. I'm gonna give you the comparisons, the things that are similar, which one I like the best, and all that jazz. So we're gonna start with the eau de toilette. It's the one that's the most different of the three. There's only a little bit left, and honestly, I'm so scared it's gonna start turning in terms of scent, because I feel like it's right on the cusp. So I'm gonna have to start wearing this and finishing it up, and hopefully having it in my next round, whenever it is, of MT's videos. And I do really like it. I felt like was the better choice for me between the eau de parfum and the eau de toilette originally, because it still had that original DNA. Like, it definitely smells like Alien, 100%. It's just kind of like the spring summer version, and it lended itself to being more of an easy reach than the eau de parfum. Not saying that the eau de parfum wasn't, because I had no problem with how strong it was, but I think in general this is a little bit of an easier reach, a more spring summer version, but it's still Alien, so you could wear it year round easily. I didn't think it was the kind of typical thing that happens with some eau de toilettes where it's more citrusy and fresh and just like very typically spring summer. I just meant that it's lighter in nature while still lasting the whole day. I mean, it's still got that like beast mode nature to it, but it's a lighter fragrance. And I think that it's a touch sweeter and a little less of that like very rich, like almost buttery jasmine that sometimes, or dark jasmine that sometimes puts people off of the original. So I really would recommend, if you can find the original formula. Unfortunately, I just can't compare it to the newer formula because I've never tried it, but this is kind of as close as you can get to like the OG Alien scent. And I feel like the next ones I'm going to talk about, while their flankers are more, I don't know, audience friendly and more commercially friendly than the OG Eau de Parfum Eau de Toilette, because this I feel like is more divisive. I also feel that same way about Angel, and I can't really compare, but I always see people, like there are a lot more people that like Angel flankers than the original Angel, which is divisive. I feel like that's the same way with Alien, where the original scent is either love or hate, but a lot of people, even if they don't like the original Angel, like some of the flankers, or Alien. The next one we're gonna get to, I'm gonna go in order of when I picked them up, and I've sprayed it here, is the Essence de Parfum. So this one is just such a interesting fragrance in terms of like, is it discontinued? Is it not? Because it is discontinued and it has been for some time, but it does pop up every once in a while. So I don't know if they just like make very limited amounts and then they push it out, whatever it may be, but keep your eyes out. I got mine off of Fragrance By, I don't know now, maybe like 8 months ago, and I've loved it ever since. I got the larger bottle too because it was available, thank goodness, the 60 ml. I don't believe anymore in getting backups. I've been very good about that, so I've never picked up another backup, but every once in a while it does pop up. It goes very quickly, within minutes, so do keep an eye out if you're interested. But I remember for a very long time it was being sold just in stores. And the ones that I remember in stores previously had an even darker juice than this. It was almost kind of opaque. Now you'll see they're thinner. And I think that was just in the sell to L'Oreal, I believe, when it became Mugler, it kind of turned that way. This is a gourmand version of Alien. It has vanilla pod and like I think cashmere, and it is delicious. It is absolutely delicious. One of my favorite gourmands of all time, and it just warmed it up. It just took everything Alien was and made it better, which is actually quite rare in a flanker. You don't always get kind of a universal appeal or love on a flanker, especially a fragrance that was already that popular, but this managed to do that. And it was kind of also it strikes the perfect balance of still reminding you of Alien. I mean, you can tell that that's what's at the base of it, but it's certainly very different different enough from the original where you by no means think, okay, I have the Eau de Toilette, for example, or the Eau de Parfum, I don't need this. No, you absolutely need this. And what's even better about this gourmand is I feel like it's a gem even if you're not a gourmand person, which I'm not like an extremely gourmand person. I like a lot of different genre fragrances, and this is still one of my favorites. I mean, I would wear this over the Eau de Toilette any day because of just how brilliantly delicious it is. I absolutely love it. The hype around this one is 100% real because I know there's a lot of hype around it, and I hate to put more hype around something that is just frustrating to folks if you guys can't pick it up. But I say this because I know a lot of you wonder, those of you who don't have it, whether the hype is definitely real. And in my taste, it 100% is. This is one of my best like unicorn purchases I've ever made. And I just feel so happy and warm and like yummy when I wear this. And it's been one that I've seriously thought about getting a backup for just because I love it so much, but you really don't need that much of it. And I feel like with how many fragrances I have, this will still last me a lifetime because I'm not wearing it every single day. If this is like your scent, then maybe, I don't know, try to get two. But I think honestly, if we can spread the love around on this fragrance, if everyone can try to get one bottle, you'll truly see how beautiful it is. So I'll put that to the side for now, and we'll talk about the next bottle, and then we'll compare. All right, so the third one is when it came up for sale, I was trying to decide whether I would get this and get the kind of popcorn, I forget what it's called now, but the alien fragrance that has a popcorn. I ended up going with Liqueur de Parfum, and I'm really happy I did, because from what I can tell, and again, I can't compare, the popcorn one smells very, very, very similar to Essence de Parfum. And while I love Alien, the last thing I want to do is get obsessed with completing another range, because I just don't need it. And it's so unique of a scent that I don't feel like I need every single one out there, and I don't want to convince myself that I do. So I'm happy I went with this one, because I think this one has more of a discernible difference compared to Essence de Parfum. So this one I've sprayed over here just so I could go back between them. This has almond in it, which I'm so for, and kind of like a dark like bourbon vanilla. And what I like about this is it's definitely still gourmand, but it has an element to it that to my nose is like root beer. And you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, that I love root beer vibes in a fragrance. It doesn't go 100% into the root beer vibes, but I think it's because of the almond mixed with the bourbon vanilla. It has an element of that root beer vibe that you get sometimes with like a darker almond. And I love that about it. It's right there in the beginning, and you definitely get it the most, I think, in the opening, which is why I'm spraying it again. I get it the most of that kind of delicious bourbon vanilla, just on the brink of being boozy, but kind of like a boozy root beer. And I love that about it. I find as it's settling into the skin and as you wear it a bit more, that booziness stays, but that root beer vibe kind of fades. And the more it stays on the skin, the more it starts to remind me of Essence de Parfum. I feel like they're most different in their opening. In their opening, and I'll get into the breakdown, they're the most different. And then the heart, they're still different, but you can definitely tell that they're similar. And then like right now, the opening is my favorite. And then in the dry down, they're the most similar. And at times it's like, you can tell the difference, but they're very, very, very similar. All right, so the opening, overall, which one do I prefer? I would say if I could only wear one of these out of the three, I suppose, but it's obvious it's not this one. If there was only one I could wear and I could only keep, I would keep Essence de Parfum. This one is kind of holistically my favorite. And overall the one I would reach for, but I do really love this one. And if you find it, I would still 100% recommend it. I'd recommend all three, but I'd 100% recommend it. The thing I will say is the opening, and I'll spray this to kind of get that opening again. While this has the best part of this fragrance is the opening, I prefer the opening of Essence de Parfum. I think it's that, I don't even know what it is, but it's more sharp. It's less, it doesn't start out as flat. I feel like it's more of a sharp scent. And it starts out less warm and rich, and it kind of like settles into that warm and richness the more it stays on your skin. I feel like this goes through more of a transformation, whereas this, the only big difference is that kind of root beer vibes as it dries on your skin starts to fade away, which is my favorite part of this. Once we get to the heart and dry down, I like them both, and I kind of just, they're so similar to my nose that, I mean, they're different, but they're so similar that it doesn't really make it hard for me to distinguish. I'll reach for any of them, but because this has the better opening, I end up always more likely reaching for this. because I just love that opening. The thing I love most about this is that almond, bourbon, vanilla, root beer-esque vibe to it. And had it kind of stayed and stuck with that, if that stuck around longer in this, I'd say they were more equal, or maybe if it was even like very strong in this, I would say that maybe this is even better. But the opening on Essence de Parfum just cannot be beat in my book. I don't even think that popcorn one, whatever it is, even though they're similar, I doubt that even that comes close to this. It's just perfection. Essence de Parfum is perfection. It is the best version of Alien that I've ever smelled, and it's hard for me to even imagine something that's better. Liqueur de Parfum comes very close. It is a little bit sweeter, a little bit warmer, a little bit richer, and it's a very close second. I just personally wish that root beer vibes from the almond, I suppose, stuck through more of the fragrance wearing process than just that opening. I feel like I lose it a little bit more, and once it gets to the heart and dry down, like I said, it's still stunning and beautiful. It's just not as root beery, because I love that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. In terms of juice, this is the lightest, obviously, and then you get to the Essence de Parfum and then Liqueur de Parfum. But as I was saying, depending on when your bottle is from, the old Essence de Parfums really had as dark as juice as this, like even darker. It was very, very rich. I remember seeing it in stores. So definitely do keep an eye out if this is a fragrance that interests you, especially for the last two. I know there are few or far in between online, but I hope if you're interested, you can find them, and I hope this video was helpful as a comparison for you to pick through. The bottle sizes, because I know you guys ask, the Eau de Toilette is a 30 ml, the Liqueur is a 30 ml, and this is a 60 ml, as I said. And yeah, those are really like the main differences in terms of the bottle sizes and what they look like. This is a bit more bulbous, which I also prefer. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye.